and welcome. I'm Fast Forward, and today we're looking at Cities Skylines. So with the new Financial Districts DLC, we get 5 new maps. So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive and have a look at what they're all about. At the same time as the DLC release, there was the Content Creator Pack Map Pack 2 DLC release, with 10 new maps from Cities Skylines map creating a legend, Sadai. So we'll look at those too. As always, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. That way my videos reach more viewers like you. And if you've not checked out my detailed look at the Financial Districts DLC functionality and the new free update, then you'll find a link to that in the description below. Rightio, sit back, relax, and let's go! So the first of 5 maps as part of the Financial Districts DLC is Grey Waters. This is a boreal theme map with all the natural resources, all the outside connections, and 56% buildable area. If we have a look at the starting tile, it's smack bang in the middle here, which is quite good. So as you expand out, there's lots of interesting ways that you can do that. Highway connection to the south of the tile here, and again lots of interest within this tile. So beachfront here, plenty of access to water if that's your thing, and even this little kind of detail down here which I quite like. Kind of looks like Stonehenge, but I think that's quite cool. As starting tiles go, that's not bad. If we zoom out, let's have a look at resources. So they're pretty evenly distributed across this map. Plenty of oil, ore, fertile land for agriculture, and plenty of trees as well. If we look at terrain height, again quite flat here, so plenty of buildable area, which is quite good. And then you've got nice interesting peaks just in spots dotted about where there's sort of smaller mountain ranges as well. But yeah, look, I just think this is such an interesting map. Look at all the islands and inlets. I've not seen anything like that on a boreal map before, so it's quite exciting. It's quite a nice map. The other thing, as we zoom in and have a look at the detail, is just things like this, these trumpet interchanges with some nice detailing. So again, if you're a vanilla player, that's great, but if you like to play modded like I do, then you can absolutely go to town with stuff like this. And as we cruise around, you can just see, again, just more interesting interchanges. They've really taken their time with this, which I quite like. If we swing around here and zoom across, the only probably minor criticism that I'd have is sometimes some of these bridges are a little bit high. So again, if you play modded, you could just bring those down. It's not that big of a problem. But, to be fair, they're lovely, big, sweeping sort of bridges as well. So I quite like them. But yeah, so this, for example, I'd probably do something with this if I was building on this map. But other than that, it's only a minor criticism. Just check it out. It looks pretty cool. The second boreal theme map is River Terrace. This one has all the natural resources, all the outside connections, and a 64% buildable area. It has got some criticism on YouTube over the past few days, but personally I quite like it. Maybe it's a need to support an underdog, I don't know. It is interesting, there's plenty of challenge in this tabletop area that you start with. If I just click out of this and show you the starting tile here, we'll zoom in. So I think that could probably turn some people off. That's not an easy starting square because there's quite a steep drop off the edge of that to the highway. I don't know, I quite like it. I think it's an interesting feature. And just, look at these interchanges. Here's another one. It's just so good. And then further down here, where this switches back into your tile over here. Yeah, I don't know, just like taking the time to do that. It's just really nice detail. Stuff like this, it's just so nice, particularly for vanilla players. Like, it just looks superb. So as I said, the starting tile is terraced. That makes it a little more challenging, but still quite nice. Nice custom interchanges, as I said. If we zoom out and swing around back to where we were, jump over and have a look at resources. Again, quite an even spread of resources on this map as well. They're kind of dotted around, pockets of oil around there, pockets of ore, like a good vein through there. Again, nice kind of fertile land as well, plenty of forestry, so you could spread your industry out. You could do pockets of industry if that's what you were wanting to do. In terms of terrain height, if I can find it, there it is. Again, plenty of kind of flat buildable land around here, then really interesting mountain range kind of dotted throughout, a big one kind of across here, and then you've got these islands to play on down here as well. So, you know, island communities or bridges from island to island, lots of opportunity there. Yeah, so I quite like this map. Okay, the next map is Narrow Passage, a temperate map with all the natural resources, all the outside connections, a 49% buildable area, and this amazing bridge connection between the two large island areas, giving the map its name. Check that out. So good. I love how that just connects the two land masses together. So interesting and different. And if we look at the starting tile, the good thing is, just wait for the game, there we go. Good thing is that's included as well. So you've got this beautiful trumpet interchange. I've been commenting on those with each map. It seems that they're so nice. Again, another cracker here. But again, you've got that, you know, crossing that joins the two land masses together. So again, when you expand, you could expand down here early on in the game and straddle both of those land masses. So you've got lots of options there. If we zoom out and look at resources, again, it's like the other maps, there's a good distribution, probably a little bit different in terms of oil and ore. It's a little bit more concentrated to the shore areas and kind of pockets in this map, rather than kind of one massive oil field. But that could see some cool offshore oil refinery type builds, which I think could look really good. And then, yeah, ore pockets, as I said, kind of spread throughout. Then you've got this kind of flat land through here. There's plenty of kind of fertile land for agriculture and plenty of trees as well. If we check out the terrain height, other than this kind of double kind of mountain range feature up here and some mountain ranges to the south here, you've got plenty of flat buildable land in the middle, which is really good. And then if we go back and zoom in, yeah, look at these. Really interesting. And what I quite like, I noticed just before actually, is this kind of terrain or terraforming of this kind of switch back here. So you know, again, if you're not modding and you're using the vanilla gameplay, you know, you can just send a road up there, or again, I play modded, so you could do some pretty cool things with that. You could have like a chairlift up the top or a cable car, you know, make this a nature reserve. There's lots of options. Let your imagination run wild. Then we've got like inland lakes as well, so some interesting kind of builds around there, which would be quite good. Some islands dotted about as well, and just again on the southern island here, great mountain range, a really nice backdrop. If you zoom in and kind of look up, they just look cracking. Really nice. So this map is Windblown Coast, and it's a tropical map with all the natural resources, all the outside connections, and a 66% buildable area. If we have a look at the starting square, it's smack bang in the middle here. Again, a lovely trumpet interchange into the map tile here. You've got access to water here, some fertile land as well as desert, so you've got options available to you in terms of starting out. If we zoom out and we have a look at resources, pockets of resources on this one. Plenty of oil and ore here, so maybe the Middle East was the inspiration here. There's less fertile land and trees on this one. If that's your preference for industries like farming and forestry, just keep that in mind. But nice big pockets of oil and ore here, and plenty to choose from. If we look at terrain heights, again, nice expansive buildable area here, including these islands off the coast as well. And then you've got these interesting mountain ranges, and there's these two here that kind of break up the map, and then you've got a little bit of kind of flat area to the north there to build on as well. So yeah, quite good, lots of interest. And again, if we come down here, there's these lovely inland lakes and plenty of fertile land around those. These would look quite cool for little towns or points of interest built around them, or even like tourist hotspots for holidaying tourists. Little desert oasis type vibe kind of thing going on. So yeah, again, just so many build options. Your imagination just runs wild. Then as we kind of zoom along here, I love the fact that this kind of rail line comes sweeping up here across the river, and then again out onto the other side. Plenty of options like undulating kind of sand dunes here, which is quite cool. And then you've got access to the sea over here. And just honestly, take a second, look at this. That's so cool. I love it. These custom fish-shaped islands off the coast are amazing. Inspired maybe by Dubai or something like that. But there's so much inspiration that you could build, like a tourist hotspot. Mansions could be built out here. You could just go crazy. Very cool indeed. So yeah, another cracking map. I love it. And lucky last of the 5 maps is the second tropical theme, Wyvern Pass, with all the natural resources, all the outside connections, and 66% buildable area, with this huge canyon cutting through the middle here. Just stunning in terms of the visual effect. Check it out. Amazing. So if we zoom out and look at the starting square, this one's our starting square here. You've got highway connection, and this is quite a challenging first tile to start on, because you've got this cliff drop, you know, down to the water here. Very kindly they've put a kind of smoother ramp there, so you didn't have to traverse kind of off that cliff there. But yeah, it's a little bit more challenging, this one. Very unique starting tile indeed. In terms of resources, if you just zoom out, have a bit of a look. So for this one, there's a good spread of resources here. Probably a little bit less oil, maybe more ore on this one, but it's nicely spread out. Lots of good pockets of oil and ore, as I said, and way more fertile land and trees compared to the windblown coast map, so that's quite good. In terms of terrain height, again, very interesting and different, quite challenging. I'm not sure this would be everybody's cup of tea, so I've not seen terrain like this on a map before, but you know, look at it, I just think of the challenge. I think it'd be quite cool. So lots of buildable space on these tabletop style mountains, and then snaking through the canyons as well, but yeah, quite sharp kind of cliffs and drop-offs, which will be quite challenging there. But again, if we just look, you've got, you know, these canyons and the rivers snake through the canyons as well. You've got this really cool kind of lake that kind of sits up here that comes down into this waterfall. If I unpause it, look at that. I've not seen that on a map before. It just looks fantastic. And then as we kind of snake our way through, you know, there's just lots of kind of little details, lots of different things, kind of rocks here and a little cave. And then, you know, as the rail line goes across there, that epic bridge that kind of traverses from one side to the other. And then as you kind of snake your way over here, we come out at kind of like the sea, or the river outlet meets the kind of sea here. So you could build out a port area here or something like that for access to your shipping connection. Very cool. I love this kind of castle that sits right on top of this hill here, or this mountain is probably more accurate. But yeah, again, kind of lots of different exciting options. Probably a bit more of a challenging map, but yeah, another good one nonetheless. So with the new Content Creator Pack, Map Pack 2 DLC, we get 10 new maps created by community modder Sadai, with a range of exciting new map types to build your next city in. I won't go into too much detail with these as I don't want to spoil it for you if you're keen on purchasing this content yourself, but let's take a quick look at them so you can see what they look like. Bay of Rivers is first. It's a temperate map with all the resources, all the connections, and a suitable area for building of 48%. Here you can see a full overview of the 81 tiles you have access to, how the resources are spread out, what the terrain looks like, and your starting tile. Do feel free to pause the video at any point if you want to look at these in more detail. Desert Valley is next. It's a European type map with all the resources, although heavier on oil and ore. The connections are highway, train and plane, but there's no ship connections for this map. The buildable land is 89%. Here you can see a full overview of the 81 tiles you have access to. A cool crater is a nice feature on this map, and more epic interchanges. This is what the resource spread looks like. Very heavy on oil and ore on this one, as I said. Plenty of buildable area here and some nice big mountain ranges. And the starting tile with a good connection to the highway. Fertile Desert is next. It's a European type map with all the resources, but again heavier on oil and ore. And again the connections are highway, train and plane, but no ship. Buildable land is 79%. And here's the full overview of the 81 tiles. Very nice desert expanses and then nice lush green areas that hug the river. This is what the resource spread looks like. Again, heavier on oil and ore on this one as well, but still some forest and farming land along the river there. Plenty of buildable area here as well, with some mountain ranges to the northeastern side of the map. And the starting tile with access to the highway and a nice amount of both fertile land and desert in that tile as well. Hilly Strait is next. It's a boreal type map with all the resources, all the connections, and buildable land of 26%. The full 81 tiles look like this, with huge sea area in the middle separating two land masses with a highway connection. This is what the resource spread looks like. Mostly the oil is concentrated off the southern landmass, so you'd be looking at offshore oil on this map. Buildable area here is contained to the more coastal areas, then huge mountain ranges on the northern border and some more on the southern border. And the starting tile with access to the water, river and the highway in the bottom corner there. Land of Isles is the name of the next map. It's a temperate type map with all the resources, all the connections, buildable land of 48%, and it's really another interesting map here. The full map looks like this. Lots of flat land in the middle island here, but also huge mountains dotted about. They almost look like volcanoes, which I think is quite cool. The resource spread looks like this. Again, oil is mostly in the waters off the coast of the landmasses, with fertile land and trees dotted through the middle of them. Plenty of buildable area on the main landmass in the centre, and then spreading outwards on the smaller islands too. And the starting tile with some beach along the coast there, plenty of space to build to start your city, and a few nice points of interest as well. Mountain Plain is next. It's a boreal type map with all the resources, although heavier on ore and forests, with all the connections and buildable land of 70%. Quite unique when we look at the full map view. There's sandy banks that crisscross the rivers as they run through the map. Here the resource spread, heavier on oil and forest on this one, less fertile land and only a couple of oil deposits, mostly concentrated at the mouth of the river. Plenty of buildable area in the middle here, which is squished between two major mountain ranges. Then the two snaking rivers make their way south into the outlet there. And the starting tile, straddling the river here, good highway connection and some decent flat land to start out on. River Delta is next. It's a tropical type map with all the resources, all the connections and buildable land of 78%. As the name suggests, this really is a river delta when we look at the full map view here. The resource spread is loaded with oil through the main river here, with ore dotted about and plenty of trees and fertile land, so a good mix. a much flatter map here, so good wide open spaces for your metropolis on this map with mountains to the south. And the starting tile looks like this. River Plains is next, and that's a European type map with all the resources, although not as much oil on this map, all the connections, and a buildable land of 81%. Another river style map here when we look at the overview. Hardly any oil on this, and ore is scarce as well, but much more tree and farmable land dotted about. Nice areas of flat terrain with interesting mountain ranges spread out, which will look very nice for your city skyline. And the starting tile here has a touch of river access on the left there, and an interchange for highway access in the bottom right hand corner. Table Mountains is next. It's a European style map with all the resources, although you do have less oil here, all the connections, and buildable land of 77%. This one has yet another river snaking its way through for your water source with smaller lakes dotted about. Again, like River Plains, this has hardly any oil and a lot less ore too, but trees and fertile land evenly distributed. Big sweeping mountain ranges spread through the middle here, as well as the northern part and some in the southern part too, so the terrain is much more varied on this map. The starting tile on this one gives good river access, rail access, and highway with the interesting looking trumpet interchange in the bottom corner there. Last up is Winding River, which is a tropical map with all the resources, although it has more oil and ore, all the connections, and buildable land of 46%. Looking at the overview of the whole 81 tiles here, there's plenty of sea expanse all around, with that winding river namesake snaking its way inland from the south and a second time in the north, which looks quite nice. The resource spread is very interesting on this map, big oil deposits in the water both in the rivers, the coast, and a huge deposit offshore in the north there. Then check out that huge ore deposit located on the island to the east. You can literally set up a self-contained ore mining production there. Lots of buildable land here too, but really nice mountain ranges crisscrossing the map, which makes this look super nice when you're down low, looking out across the distance. And the starting tile looks like this, nice flat ground to start off with, and access to that snaking river, which I quite like. Then you can expand east or west to keep growing, so quite a nice place to start, I think. Well, that's all for this video. So many new maps to get building on, very exciting stuff. You can also check out some of the other videos on my channel before you go. I've got a Snowfall DLC series that we're building out currently and into 2023, given it's winter where I live in the Northern Hemisphere, so check that out. And in the new year, we'll look at a new series using one of these exciting new maps which you can vote on, so definitely look out for that. Thanks again for watching. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And until next time, catch you later!